From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
Daniels Roofing, licensed, bonded, insured roofing contractor. 45 years of generational expertise, offering a variety of roofing systems in the North State. Composition shingles, metal, tile, fire-safe wood shingles, and spray foam roofing systems. An energy-saving cool roof, perfect for commercial flat roofs and mobile homes. With other companies, you may get a foreman or a salesman. But with Daniels Roofing, you get Daniel. Call today for your free estimate. Daniels Roofing, 3 generations working hard to protect your home and business.
Well, happy Thursday morning to you. All eyes are on the valley this morning. Everyone's talking about it. Are we going to see snow? That is the big question. Well, as I'm recording this as of a little before 4:45 this morning, you can see it's all been in the form of rain for the valley overnight and early this morning. We're seeing that snow inch its way closer to the valley, and it's the winds that I've got my eyes on. Now, as I'm recording this, I just checked the winds. They're from the south in Anderson. But as you head north of Anderson, they're much calmer winds, and they're shifting more from the north. So we're beginning to see a shift from a south wind to more of a north wind. Once that north wind really kicks in and we kind of calm those winds down, we can really transition over to snow. But we've also got to get that temperature down as well. So again, this is kind of one of those developing things we'll have to watch here throughout the morning hours. Let's have a little fun this morning. We're checking in with Bob the dog and Bernie, giving us our latest check of snow. And boy, it looks like every time we see Bob, we're seeing more snow in the Bernie area. That's just because it's piling up from day after day. I mean, you can see it's not a ton, but certainly some snow. I want to thank Pamela for sending in those every day. This is courtesy of Richard. He caught 6 fish at Nora Lake before he said it was just getting too cold, but at least he got his 6 fish in there. Take a look at southwest Tehama County, looking at the mountains. Yeah, Beverly, thank you. Beautiful shot there. The clouds over those snow-capped mountains. Weaverville at 3,500 feet. The center of town is about 2,000 feet or so. But you can see a higher elevation of Weaverville. Yeah, a lot of snow up there. I want to thank Melissa for sending in that photo as well. You can share your photos from the free Weather NorCal app, and when you do, let me know where you are, your elevation, and how much snow you got. You just might see it on the morning show, Coffee with Krueger. Let's take you into your Krueger's Quick Cast for your Thursday, February 19th. Once again, we take a look at the radar. As I'm recording this, it's about 4:45 in the morning on Thursday. It's all in the form of rain at this point, but it could transition over to snow. And as we start to see those winds shift more from the north, that's not out of the question. There's the bigger picture. Some heavier bands of rain down to the south. Also, a few lightning strikes last night near the Red Bluff area. This is all shifting eastward. So out the door this morning, you can see the snowflakes that we will see in parts of the valley, but not everyone. And then it looks like things are starting to already dry out, even in Trinity County, but more rain for the coast and more snow flurries in the higher elevations for Siskiyou, Modoc County, the eastern mountains. So the main area of low pressure itself, you can see, is diving down to the south and east. Eventually, it will be to our east later today, and that's when things start to dry out. So let's take a look at the HRRR forecast model, which, by the way, has been the most aggressive model over the last few days over our in-house. So we're just going to do the HRRR now, and then we'll take a look at our in-house model during the deeper dive forecast. So you see the winds coming from the south. Now let's take it about 7 a.m. You see how the winds are now shifting, and we're seeing less winds. 7 a.m., it's beginning to turn over to snow, especially in northwest Redding. And then you can see by 8 a.m., maybe a little bit of snow near Chico, near Red Bluff, but really it's mainly in the form of rain based off of this model here. It does transition over to snow for Redding, maybe Chico, and maybe even Red Bluff and Corning by 8 a.m. As I mentioned, this model has been the most aggressive since day one, and I think, too, it may be overly aggressive. You can see by 9 a.m., it's beginning to show more snow. We're on the back edge of all of this, so by 10, 11 o'clock, it's all pretty much going to be off to our east. Again, we'll take a look at our in-house model and show you the difference. It's not showing as much snow, folks, so we'll have to kind of wait and see what happens south of Redding as we get closer to Red Bluff, Corning, and even Chico. Now, 41 trails are open at the Mount Shasta Ski Park. Now it's at 36 inches at the top of Douglas with new snow over groomed conditions. Do note that early this morning there are chain requirements on I-5 north of Redding and chain requirements on 89, and you can bet the Ski Park Highway is going to be kind of that packed snow as well. So there you can see some of the snow we expect through Saturday. Yeah, a lot more snow. You're going to be dealing with more powder Get on out there. The next few days should be gorgeous. Temperatures for today, upper 40s, around 50 for the valley. Looks like mainly in the 30s for the higher elevations and mid to upper 40s. I expect the bulk of the precipitation to be this morning. Snow through the day, eastern mountains, but by this evening it's all off to the east. Very cold to start off the day tomorrow morning. But by this point, we're not looking at rain or snow. It's just going to be downright cold as the colder air has moved on in. We're talking low to mid 20s in the valley. All right, there's your 7-day forecast. For the valley, you know, you've got off and on chances for showers in there. And really, I expect drier conditions this afternoon, tomorrow, and even most of the day on Saturday. Saturday night into Sunday, a chance for some more wet weather. Take a look at the coast. Looks like a better chance for showers off and on through next week, but it's not going to be as wet next week, and I think snow levels are going to be much higher, probably around 4,000 feet or so, and off and on chances. Now, you'll notice Alturas, really Modoc County, eastern mountains, dry Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. A lot of the activity looks to stay to the west of those areas until like Monday night to Tuesday. Maybe another chance for some of those showers. All right, we take a look at the weather headlines. One last push of rain and snow here for really this morning before it shifts off to our east. Drier pattern Friday and Saturday for everyone. And then cool and unsettled return Sunday to Monday and off and on through next week, at least through the middle of next week. I'm seeing drier conditions now in that long range. Higher snow levels and less rain next week. All right. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to take another look at a forecast model with the snow in the valley, the chances there, and what we expect going into the weekend and next week in your deeper dive forecast, sponsored by Shasta Hearing Aids.
Hearing loss can creep in little by little until one day you realize something's been missing. It's not about things being louder, it's about the moments that slip by. The joke you didn't quite catch, the quiet I love you, or the conversations with your kids that deserve the full attention. At Shasta Hearing Aids here in Redding, we believe hearing aid care should feel personal. Through compassionate care, a comprehensive hearing aid screening, and technology tailored to your lifestyle, we help you reconnect to what matters most. Schedule your free hearing aid evaluation today.
All right, so as I'm recording this, and right after I record this, this is when I upload it to all the different platforms, and so the timing of all that, right? And it takes time to upload. So by the time you're watching this, it will probably be past 5, maybe even closer to 5:30 if you're watching it right when I upload it. But this gives you an idea. Close to 5 o'clock this morning, it's all still in the form of rain. We're seeing some heavier bands of rain down to Red Bluff, and then that will be kind of pushing its way northeastward. We're also seeing this push of this colder air, this snow, trying to push eastward, but that snow line is holding fairly steady this morning. Now, last check, winds were from the south in Anderson, blowing from the south in Anderson, but more from the north, but light north winds for city of Shasta Lake, Redding, and then down to around Anderson. So this is about the point where you have south winds, north winds. This is the better chance for snow in the next couple of hours or so, but if we can get more of that northerly flow of winds for the south end of the valley, then you could be looking at the potential for some snow there as well. But keep in mind, once we see that shift, it does take some time for that colder air to really kind of filter on in. So it's a couple of things we have to really monitor here. So let's take a look at the wider perspective of the radar. Again, you can clearly see that rain in the valley. Of course, that typical horseshoe where we got the snow surrounding the valley, and there are chain requirements in many areas here. In fact, let's take a look at some of the chain requirements. Now, it looks like it's okay on Highway 299 minus the Berry Summit area, but do note there may be some slick spots there this morning on Oregon Mountain, Buckhorn Summit, for example, Highway 36 West, on I-5. All right, you see there, north of Redding, you're seeing snow there and chain requirements, Highway 89, and look at all the chain requirements. As we typically see, they're off in the eastern mountains. We take you to the south over the Tahoe region, no big surprises here. There have been some big issues with closures of Interstate 80 and Highway 50 heading to Tahoe. I mean, I think the phrase was Tahoe is closed, right? But there's still a lot more snow in that region here as we go through the day today. Let's take a look at some of the cameras out there this morning. Again, shortly before 5 o'clock, there's the backup on I-5 as they're screening vehicles. There you can see, of course, Lakehead at 1,100 feet. That snow is certainly coming down there. I-5 near Mount Shasta City, snow-covered. Snowman Summit on Highway 89. Again, we take a look at some more cameras. Collier Tunnel, north of Collier. This is on Highway 199 in northern Del Norte County. This is Highway 97. You've got some of the snow out there towards Doris. This is Highway 299 West, Buckhorn Summit at the base. Oregon Mountain looks clear, but there you can see Berry Summit does have that snow. We could see some more snow developing around Oregon Mountain and Buckhorn Summit. So again, no chain requirements as I'm recording this, but that may change in the next hour or so. Hatchet Mountain, Highway 299. This is just northeast of Bernie. And there's a look at Cedar Pass. We take a look at Highway 44, Shingletown, now seeing snow. Lassen Park, Bogard Ranger Station, 36 and 89. I mean, you get the picture, right? Especially east of I-5. If you're heading above 1,000 feet at least, right, maybe even lower than that, you're going to be dealing with snow. So you've got to make sure you've got those snow tires, chains, the works, because it is going to be a mess out there, folks, this morning. Take a look at Highway 70, Highway 89, right? Spring Garden, can't see anything because it's too dark, but just be careful. By the way, you can always go to weathernorcal.com, click right here where it says road conditions, and you've got a quick glance at all of the different cameras across Northern California. Very quick glance, so when you're out and about, you can be in the passenger seat while your friend or family member is driving, and you can let them know what it looks like on the roads where you are going at a quick glance. You can see this also from your phone. It's also on the app as well. By the way, want to remind you there's a 24-hour streaming channel you always have access to. If you have a Roku, just search for Weather NorCal in the App Store there, and you're watching the 24-hour channel. Same thing with Fire Stick, hoping to get that updated so it does start working again. Hoping to work on an Apple TV one as well. We also have YouTube. That's always the go-to if you don't have any of these other platforms. Most likely your smart TV has YouTube. What I like also about YouTube is you can watch on demand the latest video forecasts like the one you're watching now. So there you can see that cold front diving down to the south, the cold and unstable air that's moving on in. We take a look at that overall pattern here, and what we're seeing here is that we've got off and on chances for showers. Now I do expect to see a break for your Friday and for your Saturday, and then by Sunday the next round begins to move in. But look at Sunday. Looks like east is going to be dry, but west of that is where we've got that wet weather, and then more push coming in on Monday, better chance for overall rain. But look at this. This model here in particular brings us mainly dry conditions, maybe another chance for some showers near the end of next week. But cool and unsettled, but just not as active as it's been this week. And not as cold either, so snow levels should be higher. Chance for thunderstorms in the areas in green here, but I think overall parts of the valley could see a thunderstorm, and especially along the coast. But we're beginning to really kind of quiet things down this afternoon. All right, let's take a look. I put the winds in here. 6 a.m., there may be some snow at this point in the Redding area. And as I'm seeing those winds shift more from the north, for the north end of the valley around the Redding area, that's not out of the question as we go into the morning hours. 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, not out of the question to see some snow. Eventually, maybe even accumulating if we can keep it snowing long enough. Then you can see the heavier rainfall down to the south, but notice it's because of those south winds. Okay, then we take into 7 a.m. More of that northerly push here. So you can start to see us pushing southward. Cottonwood, Anderson, beginning to see that potential maybe for some snowflakes as well, and maybe even around Red Bluff. And notice right here, that snow line is really hugging the valley at this point. So places like Paradise, McGill, yeah, you bet you're going to be dealing with the snow there. Okay, then we take into 8 a.m. You see what's happening? This is beginning to push eastward. Having a hard time getting it in Chico. If we see a mix in Chico, I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe even in Oroville, but at this point still maybe a snow mix out towards Redding and Red Bluff. That's at 8 o'clock this morning. Then we take you into 10 o'clock this morning. It's all pushing eastward, and at this point we are now dry. And even though the winds are from the north, the precipitation at this point is gone, so the chances for snow are going to be much slimmer. It kind of hangs on off to the east, so places like Chico, Oroville, still maybe a bit of rain by midday, but it's all going to be that snow off to the east, and you can see some of the thunderstorms we're seeing off over the ocean here, right? Then we go into 6 p.m. today. Just a few snow flurries off to the east, but we're beginning to see, again, that drier conditions here. So it's mainly to the east this afternoon, and everyone else just not seeing much activity. Friday looks dry, a bit of a south wind. We take you into your Saturday. All right, so Saturday morning, there may be some snow flurries north and west of Redding, maybe even a chance for a few showers there as well. The National Weather Service is even saying, oh, maybe some snow in Redding. All right, maybe if you see a mix Saturday morning, we can get that far south and east, but the bulk of the rain is actually off the coast. But on the east side of that, we're seeing some instability, and that's why we have that chance for showers, especially for the north end of the valley, maybe some snow around Mount Shasta City as well, and then a bigger push and a warmer push of some moisture coming in Sunday. This is when snow levels probably climb up to around 3,500, 4,000 feet, and some rounds of heavier rainfall. But you see how it mainly stays off to the west. We were talking about that, right? So we have slimmer chances for any activity here for both Saturday and Sunday for the eastern mountains, but everywhere else at least has that chance for some of those showers. And then going into Monday, looks like a drier trend actually on Monday. So there you can see maybe some chances for a little bit of light to minor accumulation, and then going into your Sunday, now there you can see some heavier rainfall pushing on in. Still have the winter storm warning for the valley eastward until 10 o'clock tonight. This is until 10 a.m. The areas in purple are basically winter weather advisories. This is where we're going to see a little less snow, but still snow nonetheless. Take a look at the forecast model, and this is at 6 a.m. Yeah, it's showing a little bit of that trace of snow, and it wants to push in about an inch or two. It may even be a little bit more than that if it can stick around a little bit longer. And now it's not even indicating anything for Chico. But as I mentioned, if we see a mix in Chico, I wouldn't be surprised this morning, even for places like Red Bluff. But as you head kind of on the west side of the valley, I think the chances will be a bit slimmer, and then a little bit more snow heading off to the east. Most of the snow today, especially once we get in the afternoon, is going to be off to the east. Everyone else looking at drier conditions this afternoon. Let's take a look at the road conditions. They should improve west of the eastern mountains through the day today, but the eastern mountains will probably still be seeing that snow, and that's why we do expect to see chain requirements at least east of I-5, but even parts west of I-5 could see some chain requirements as well. Very cold, probably very icy. That's why we'll probably see chain requirements, especially east of I-5 through the morning hours. There's that heavier snow. It's not over for the Sierra, by the way. So Tahoe region, over a foot of snow here just for today alone, but then drier conditions going into your Friday. So we still have those treacherous road conditions, heavy snow at times through the morning hours and even into the afternoon, but it should start to taper off. But you see how it's kind of creeping southward here or closer to the valley as we get into Friday morning. So still very snowy and very icy. So chain requirements are going to be a possibility there. The National Weather Service still has the wind advisory. Some gusty winds will be the case. We're seeing them calm down a bit for the north end of the valley this morning, but they should pick back up around midday from the north. They'll still be a little gusty even as we go into this afternoon. Could see gusts up to 30 miles per hour, but by midday Friday, much calmer winds. And then as the system approaches on Saturday, the winds will start to pick up from the west, work their way eastward, and by Sunday, we could see some more gusts over 30 miles per hour from the south for the valley and some of the higher elevations as well. That could continue into Sunday night. Temperature-wise, well, it looks like we're going to start to warm things up. It's been quite cold, but as we get toward the end of the month, early next month, we're going to be closer to, if not even above normal, as you can see here. Cold through the weekend, but then it starts to tick back up. Look at this, by the end of next week, maybe close to 70 again. Can you believe that? Take a look at the lake levels. These are actually totals from yesterday, but they have not changed much since then. So you can still see we're looking at very healthy lake levels at this point. Wave heights are still a bit high here for today, but they should retreat significantly once we start to quiet things down for your Friday. So your marine forecast, well, we are, of course, looking at the north winds at about 15 to 20 knots. Waves from the northwest is 6 feet at about 7 seconds, and from the northwest at 9 feet at 11 seconds. Here's your neighborhood forecast, sponsored in part by Dignity Health. We are looking at those temperatures still around 40, upper 30s, low 40s. Looks pretty ominous, but just note that Friday should be dry. You may see some activity Saturday, maybe some snow in Weaverville and Hayfork, but then the snow levels rise back up to about 4,000 feet by Sunday into early next week. Best chances for rain next week will be off and on chances through next week for the coast and the inland areas here. So just note that we do expect drier conditions Friday, but maybe some showers coming in later in the day on Saturday. There's a look at your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast. Should be dry for Friday, but there you can see more wet weather coming in for Saturday and better chances on Sunday. But snow levels are starting to climb. Do note that it's not going to be as wet, cool and unsettled here for next week. It's just not going to be as wet, and the snow levels are going to be higher, probably around 4,000 feet or so. Eastern mountains, 38 degrees for Westwood today. Paradise, you'll see some snow this morning, but that'll turn back over to rain later on today. There you can see temperatures upper 40s to even some low 50s for the south end of the valley. I've got that morning mix for Chico. And there you can see it's dry for Friday, Saturday, and then more showers possibly by Sunday. Up to the north, there you can see about 49 degrees for Redding, 50 in Anderson, and 49 degrees in Palo Cedro. Let's take a look at that 7-day forecast for Redding. I've got that morning snow, maybe some accumulating snow as well. And then you can see as we go into the weekend, Friday and Saturday, mostly dry, maybe some afternoon showers on Saturday, maybe even some morning showers Saturday, close to it. And then better chances for rain Sunday. And then, yeah, maybe some off and on chances for showers, especially as we go through the middle of next week. That's your morning update. I'll be back again for the latest check of your forecast at noon. Have yourselves a great morning.
When you see flashing lights, someone's life depends on us.
And while we're out helping crash victims, we need your help to keep us safe. Move over, slow down, it's the law, it protects everyone.
Our crews are out here every day, keeping the roads safe for you and your family.
We're often the last ones on scene, and we want to make it home safe too.
Protect those who protect you, slow down and move over.